This is the story of four amigos searching for glory, looking for a purpose in their life, trying to put an end to their strife. They are not regarded as popular or cool, instead they are regarded as fools. If only they could get invited to the party that they have all cited. As the most lit party ever, the four bros have gone never. They search for Stan, the man who has a plan, to get them into the celebration, to induct them into Party Nation.
Can I kick it to all the people who can quest like a tribe does? Before this, did you really know what I was? Comprehend to the track force, why? Cause
The athlete, the football team he was on, but he was ridiculed for playing Pokemon. When he was not at school, he was always playing. "You're a real weirdo," the football team was saying. You could tell he played his DS, trying to be the very best. His face covered in acne, his pupils so dilated he could hardly see. Carpal tunnel syndrome is what he had, from playing his DS all day, which was very bad. His parents wished he would put it down, get in his car and go to town, maybe get a job husking corn on the cob. Aside all his gaming and all of the shaming, he was a really nice guy. He just kept getting passed by. An invitation to the party would complete his life, happiness filling his heart and all rife.
On the side sat the artist, sprawled out on the carpet. A natural hippie, over-emotional was he. His personality was sure to bring him heat, but in the end his mind was anything but concrete. Strumming the freshly changed strings of his guitar, dreaming of going places unknown and far. Although beaten and bruised, to give up he refused. The occasional heartbreak turned into headache that would not leave him alone. His thoughts drifted through the wind blown. Desperately he needed a job, as he was just as broke as a doorknob. He was falling to pieces, watching his passion wither away, deceases. However, he let no one know of his painful woes. He sees his party as a new light, a new reason to continue on and fight. A new life is surely to start. Desperately he wants to be a part. He's ready to start over rather than renew, for he was going nowhere fast, he knew.
There sat a nerd, boring and dry, looking at books to pass the time by. All he would do is study and study, never talking or hanging out with anybody. People would see him approaching and quickly say bye. He was just too boring and dry. Never was there anyone who had such a yearning for doing nothing all day besides learning. The only thing he wanted was more knowledge, to eventually go to an Ivy League college. He wasn't one for partying or socializing, he was just too patronizing. He simply could not make any friends, even though he tried to follow the trends. To study and learn was his only drive, thus he never felt truly alive.
There sat a boy who was somewhat lost. His thoughts in his head were mixed and tossed. His hair was brown, blonde, and dead from all the chlorine sitting in his head. His face was merry, but his thoughts were scary. How could it be that a boy like he did not feel like he had a place in a school with so much space? Sure, he was a little odd, and he swam all the time like a cod, but he was in between, the popular and the unseen. His raging thoughts kept him at bay. He had words he was afraid to say. He was scared to talk to girls. His eyes shined like blue and green pearls. Then he looked up and said, as his face became red, "Guys, let's go out tonight. I'm tired of living in this fight. Am I cool or am I lame? Should I be living in the shame? I have a plan. Let's get an invite from Stan."
Behold, 3 travelers have come to me. They want an invitation to the party. You 3 men are thoroughly confused. Your common sense is hardly used. The party will not change your ways. Instead, it will put you in a daze. None of this is worth the price you assume. But be on your way. You'll regret it, I presume. The party will be at the House of Bess, and the answer to if you can come is yes.
Happy New Year! Nice.
The boys could hardly sit still. It took all their will. They were excited to go, and their excitement started to grow. Mikey drove by, picked up his friends, and said hi. They were off to be known. The excitement in their cheeks was shown. But Mikey's radio did not start, so the men told tales that were close to heart.
So the story goes about 2 young lads torn apart and left to oppose. They used to be the best of friends, laughing and jamming until the night ends. Nothing could split them apart, not even an arrow through the heart, or so they thought, when the drummer started to connect the dots. He recognized the singer had a sister. To him, she seemed like she needed a particular mister. He swiftly took an interest in her and let everything play. He tried to reach the drummer by phone, but alas, he wasn't home. Fear ran through the singer's back, like a stab in the back by a million thumbtacks. Finally, he received a call from the drummer out of all. The singer immediately jumped down his throat, leaving no room for him to breathe like a sinking boat. The drummer quickly retaliated in emotion so strong, frustrated. He knew what was morally right, but his thoughts let the drummer slip into the night. Stubborn was the drummer. Forever Lost was the night of the midsummer, and the band has never met since, all due to one man who couldn't be convinced. Now, the singer is sad and alone, in need of some new friends to call his own.
There once was a lad named Pete. All he would do is cheat and cheat. Then one day he got caught red-handed by the guy beside him who was very candid. That guy named John reported Pete. Pete got a 0 and hung his head in defeat. Pete and his friends then harassed John, who felt as if he had done nothing wrong. John was rejected and called names, so he vowed that he would change. From then on, he let Pete cheat, which, according to Pete, was very neat. So John was never a snitch again and started partying more with his friends. Devoting less time to studying for school, John finally felt like he was cool.
I once knew of a boy. His name was Roy. He liked to play games with his friends. He could do it until his life ends. But at the same time, he was playing a sports, so all of his teammates would retort, "You're uncool, you're a weirdo. Playing games is dumb, don't you know?" Roy didn't know what to do. Maybe he could make fun of them too. Then it hit him, an idea that was great, so good that it would determine his fate. He would make fun of games just like everyone else did, and all of the ridicule and teasing would be rid.
Oh guys, do not fret. If I had $1, I will bet that after this rager, we will all be seen as braver. We will be the most popular in school, and for once, we will be seen as cool. Luke, you will not be a nerd. You will be adopted into the clique herd. Paul, do not be ashamed. Just know that the football team will bring you to fame. And Nick, do not feel left alone. After this the rad kids at the party will make you feel at home. This party will not be whack, and we will not be subject to attack. But one thing is key. At this party, do not lose sight of me. For once, there was a boy named John, who went to a party and left his friends like pawns. John was once determined to be the best, so he grabbed his friends and they went on a quest. But along the way, he lost sight of his friends who would bide and never leave his side. John ditched his boys to play with the cool kids and their toys. While gone, his friends saw a change. John began to act strange. He drank and mocked his old friends who rocked. John's friends fled away, and John's friends still ignore him to this day. If we are to be famous, as can be, there is one thing that we must see, that we must do this as one, or else we will not be fun. The boys went and knocked on the door. This is what they were looking for. Stan opened it up, and he said sup. But he was sad to say, today was not the day. Bess changed her mind and said no. It was time for the boys to go. They went back to Mikey's with distraught psyches. Boy, how blind were we, that we could not see, that when we are together, all birds of one feather, that we are happy, and not posers who are crappy. Let's have a party here, where we don't have to fear what others will say, and we can have it our way.
Oh yeah, we back. Oh, and Zafoon, by the way. Yeah, Jones. Yeah. Chitty bang, and we pretty much amazing. Can we hear your new song, please? I got you. Hey yo, I once was a kid, all I had was a dream.